Brooklyn Nets star Kyrie Irving, well, refusing to disclose his vaccination status today.
I'm a human being first, and obviously living in this public sphere, there's just a lot of questions about what's going on in the world of Kyrie, and I think I just would love to just keep that private and handle it the right way with my team and go forward together with a plan.
So Irving making that statement remotely, separated from his teammates, and because of local restrictions, he won't be able to play in home games unless he is vaccinated. NBA legend Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is calling out vaccine deniers. He's writing about it in a Substack, and he quoted in this article in Rolling Stone, and we're going to talk about it right now. So Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, thank you so much. Thank you for being here tonight and for doing what you do. Can I just get your reaction to Kyrie Irving's statement?
I can't accept Kyrie Irving's statement. He's hiding behind procedure here. Either you understand what's going on and you're going to do the right thing, or you don't understand what's going on and you're going to continue to create all this confusion with your stance. So, we got to get that cleared up, exactly where he stands and what that means to those around him.
Mm-hmm. A source is telling CNN that approximately 90% of NBA players are vaccinated against COVID-19. You think that the 10% should be let go?
I think they should be disciplined. I don't think that they are behaving like good teammates or good citizens. This is a war that we're involved in, and masks and vaccines, they are the weapons that we use to fight this war. And when you're not going to be cooperative with that, you're working against the effort to make everybody safe. And, we can't have that. That doesn't work for everybody.
What about the folks who say, hey, listen, it's my right, it's my freedom, it's my body, I can do what I want, I shouldn't be told what to do?
Well, that's fine, but they don't have to do that within the framework of the NBA and put other people at risk. That's what we're talking about here, putting other people at risk, not about whether somebody feels macho enough that they're going to go against the COVID virus and not have any vaccination protection. And, I guess maybe it makes them feel brave or, able to do something that others can't do. That's not what we should be doing here. We should be trying to limit this virus with all the tools that we have at our disposal.
I want to play this. This is, see if you remember, this is from LeBron James. Watch this.
Anything that I do off the floor is predicated to my family, for the majority. I mean, for 99.9% of that. So, it's about the health and safety of my family. And that's what it came down to. Me being available to my teammates on the floor is me taking care of my body.
Do you mind me asking if you're confirming that you did get the vaccine?
It's not a big deal.
So listen, we haven't heard from LeBron about that since, but the Lakers general manager did say that all players on the roster will be fully vaccinated for the new season. What would it mean if LeBron were to be more transparent about the vaccine or encourage others to actually get it?
Well, I think it would be helpful if he encouraged others to get it, but he has the right not to do that. You can't force everyone to do what you think is correct. Mm-hmm. So people do have the right not to participate in using the vaccine, but if they're going to do that, they should not put other people at risk because they might become contaminated.
Yeah.
Their children might end up at risk. That's not fair.
I want to, listen, I'm going to go a little bit long because I want to ask you one more question, and I think it's important. You've written about this quote, the dark reality is that those who promote hesitancy and more research have blood on their hands. Worse, the kind of conspiracy theories and pseudoscience pundits spread is the kind of selective science that white people use to justify enslaving black people. Elaborate on that, please, sir.
Well, the more ignorance that is spread around, the easier it is to confuse people about what's happening. So people who disliked Black Americans at one point refused to give them treatment. In this instance, we have people that are trying to confuse the issue and have people not use the available treatment because of who knows what reason. But we can't let that be something that pulls us back. We have to educate ourselves so that we understand what is being offered. These vaccines are safe and they are effective, and we have to fight this virus as a group. We can't have certain people feeling that well, I don't have to do that. That's insanity.
I think it's important that you point out that they confuse the issue, especially when it comes to the Tuskegee experiment. It's not that they were injecting African Americans with something that was bad for them. They weren't treating them. And the people they did inject with things like penicillin got better. Black folks didn't because they didn't inject them. Thank you, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I appreciate you joining us.
Great talking to you.
You as well.
Hope our message gets across here, and thanks for your effort, because without people like you being willing to point the facts out, we're going to have more problems.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you as well and your voice. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar,
Well, thank-
everyone.